trapped in an eternity of vapid space. Doomed to wander the galaxy. Broadcasting their nonsense to the void. This is StarCast.
Hi, my name is Chris Roberts, and welcome to StarCast.
And he himself turns into a sentry, and I was like, okay, that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah,
choice.
I'm sure they'll change it up a little bit, but
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, hello.
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 We are live. Welcome to StarCast, everybody. Tonight we have special guests Ben and Will from CIG. Hello, fellas.
Hey.
Woo! Woot. Woot. I don't know what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be so, like, anti-vapid because we've got StarCast just came back from PAX. And we've got all the things to talk about from the FPS module and everything else. And
A new patch.
I can actually play the game now. I've been doing pew-pews like crazy.
Well, if you got somebody who just came back from PAX, they may actually know more about Star Citizen than William and I do. So.
Well, that might be. It is StarCast. He is like a sponge of knowledge. You saw he stole that flag from you. You weren't even looking. It was like up on the stage, and he like they just they turned around for a second to talk like on the mic, and he like, walked up behind him and like
Ninja it.
Ninja really stealthy. But all you Australians are a bunch
Tuck and roll
criminals anyway. So it's just expected. They should have nailed everything down with.
Exactly.
That's
yeah, we've lost a lot of flags over the last 2 years. There.
Mostly wherever StarCast is.
which is everywhere, which is the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've actually sewed all of the I use them as a bedspread now, and curtains, and one set made into some undies. So, you know.
My mic is low, huh?
Really?
Not for us.
Right.
Not for us.
Well, it's not going out on OBS. It looks like it's really loud.
No, sound just fine to me.
Oh well. Okay, so I guess we could talk. We're gonna talk about some stuff. If you guys have any questions, the standard procedure here is put your questions in brackets. So like put the word question within brackets, and that kind of highlights it. Bod's gonna grab them up and pull them into the chat right here in Skype with us, so we can grab it up and.
Geek, I just checked. You are a tiny bit low. If you could turn it up like 10%, should be okay.
So weird. I don't understand why that would be.
I don't know. I just checked it.
Test.
It is true.
Lower the
Everyone
Skype volume.
Huh. Hold on. We got everything turned all the way up. Interesting.
I thought this is why we got together early.
Yeah, well, the thing is I'm talking to you guys, and you guys can hear me just fine, right?
Yeah.
I would say maybe you guys are too loud. That I can fix.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Problem solved. Ish.
Alright. How about now? Say words, everybody.
Words.
Hello.
Words.
Oop.
No.
Alright, that's better.
Sausage fingers.
Sausage fingers?
Sausage fingers.
Snickers.
You love your Snickers.
We do.
I don't.
More nuts.
No, all I saw was about it said more nuts.
Yeah, I need more nuts.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Limited edition.
Alright, so, Ben, did you want to go over something that's been going on within the community? Did you want to talk about that today?
I posted on the forums all the stuff with Eric and Sandy. I mean, I don't know if there's anything more to say.
Okay.
If people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But as folks pointed out on Reddit earlier today, it's probably cooler just to talk about spaceships. I think
Perfectly
that's why
fine. No, I'm okay with that. That's perfectly cool.
I'm all about internet spaceships.
Internet and spaceships.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about spaceships then. So let's see. What are you guys thinking of the Herald?
I'm loving it.
I love it.
Especially the new photos that they showed on, the letter from the chairman. Just seeing it all, how it retracts out and then they rotate. That's going to look so cool.
To be honest, I prefer the original version. I like it just being ugly as sin.
It's very ugly.
Like, so ugly, it's
And
beautiful.
an antenna.
Like that's what I sort of picture Drake as, right? And it's just it's so ugly, it's beautiful kind of thing. And it's like it makes it a little nicer to look at, and it adds that symmetry and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I like that big ugly dish. I know it's supposed to be able to retract or whatever, and the one weird wing, and it just that ugly duckling.
Well, if you look at it, this one says it's the Herald Mark II, so is there two different versions of Herald?
No, I think it's just a different concept, yeah. I think.
Yeah, it's just a different concept.
Okay.
Although
Ben,
we have the potential to do both if people love both of them, or if there's a preference. I mean, that's what the concept stage is for.
Now, something we don't really know, like, we know it's an info runner, but is it going to be able to do data stuff on the fly? Like, what sort of capabilities or game functions are we going to see from a ship like the Herald?
Like an info.
Well, yeah, our thought is that kind of its stated purpose is transferring information from one point to another, which is a gameplay mechanic. Information star citizen will be power, locations of jump point, economy data, military movements, and so on. But of course, it's a Drake ship, so it actually has a secret, more of a hacking purpose for intercepting other people's data, spoofing things. The idea is it's kind of a computer platform. You've seen the cutaway view with various computer systems you can access in flight.
It looks a lot like my stream setup.
Basic.
Yeah, I got my bed over there and my computer's here, kind of thing. But yeah,
Basically, it's just an electronic warfare ship. But considering its primary purpose is to get from point A to point B, will its electronic warfare focus be mostly on defensive electronic warfare or offensive electronic warfare?
I would say much more offensive. I mean, we're envisioning it as a ship you might want. You're on a pirate raid. You've got a couple of cutlasses to actually intercept the enemy transports and fighters. You got a caterpillar to store the loot, and you have a herald there to spoof your signatures, to confuse their radars, to do command and control, all sorts of data-related functions.
All right, so a little flag carrier. Awesome.
Are we going to see anything like hacking into ships to be able to turn their shields off or divert their power or anything like that? With something
We're
like
talking about it. It's one of those things that it can be entirely not fun. So we're experimenting with it. We have not locked down a decision on that yet.
can I ask a question for one of the functions of it? There's these little canister things that are on the side and the bottom, and it says like they eject out information. How does that function? What's the purpose? How is it going to get from point A to point B? Is it supposed to be launched out to another ship to pick it up instead of it just being transferred electronically?
Actually, that was actually a note that we sent the artist after we got these versions back. That says, hey, it doesn't really make sense to store the data on the outside of the ship.
Yeah.
Up pretty easily. So I would not necessarily expect to see those in the finished version. We have talked about replacing them with sort of a small mine layer.
Or ECM.
It would be a pretty cool ship to be able to basically detach a couple small mines, even sometimes with an information running purpose, like this mine lashes onto another ship and tracks it.
Like a lamprey. Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about last week. Was that maybe they flew out and attached to a ship, or maybe they could be like EMP mines. So somebody's chasing behind you and you knock them out with EMP or something.
Or you could opt for a Dragoon system, little turrets with little flying thrusters with guns on top, and just flying around as.
Oh, that's just crazy talk.
My thoughts of when I first saw it was more of my thought was it was more of a defensive mechanism. That way, if you're info running and you're fixing to be tracked down, you can dump them and they explode as you get away. You know, a quick way to dump your information, blow it up, and go, just in case if you have to get out of there.
The purpose of them was initially that was in the design spec. You need to be able to dump your information, or you need to be able to leave information for someone else to pick up. It will have that ability. It probably won't be observable from the outside in that way. It'll be a gas right. It pops out.
Gotcha.
I was thinking more like, you know, it's some kind of clandestine system to where I left that information on that third asteroid from the right. You know, it's
in that paper bag beside the garbage can.
Beside the garbage can.
Yeah. Well, if you were going to go ahead with a ship that dead drops information, if it had a signal beacon in it going straight to you know, let's say your Alliance headquarters, and it had a stealth function, then no one else would be able to find it, and your Alliance would be able to track it in case your ship was about to get compromised. That could be an idea.
Yeah, I think you guys are thinking exactly the same way we are about this ship. That's cool.
Yeah, my question about the ship is the fuel capacity, and it having such large engines. How long will your fuel last you? You know, how, you know, is that something later on y'all going to spec out as far as like how far you can really open up on this thing to get away before you're going to have to throttle it back to where you don't lose out on the fuel you need to get to from point A to point B?
Yeah, I expect to hear more about kind of our fuel system in general and boost and all that. Our thinking right now is it's very quick regardless, and it'll have sort of a super boost that is, you know, measured more in seconds than hours. But that's what we're thinking fuel-wise.
Because I could just see this thing, it being shaped like a bullet, and then you hit that boost, and it does that little outer ring thing as you just launch, and I think that's going to be so cool. I know y'all going to come up with some kind of animation like that, but I think that's going to be really cool to see that happen and to actually watch it.
Yeah, it seems like you want that moment where it's like, oh, they've got a herald, we gotta hit it before it can activate its boost, and then it's out of there. So
yeah,
just sort of like going back to the original X-wing and TIE Fighter when stuff starts to enter hyperspace, and you have like that one moment to stop it.
Did you guys see that they came out with a new name for the new Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I did.
Force Awakened, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question, Ben. This is, I don't know if this is going to be too controversial or whatever, but I'm going to throw it at you.
Yes, they're real.
What? From left field comes Ben Lesnick, smacks it out of the park.
Yeah.
The ships, and it seems to me, and this is just my own opinion, that the ships that are coming out now, they're starting to slowly creep to be a little bit more expensive. Are they? Do you guys have like a baseline price system that you have for the ships, and then as you find that you add functions or hard points or whatever that you add, that adds value, and so that causes the price to go up, or is there some other sort of mechanism that you guys have?
That's exactly it. We don't have a single base, but we have a base for kind of each size, and then we build on and off with the components.
Okay.
It's not an exact science because obviously the economy will change everything very quickly once the game launches, but we have sort of our baseline starting estimates for, hey, this gun is worth this computer system is worth this ability is worth this. It all kind of comes from there.
Okay. What do you guys think? Is that what you've been thinking too? Or you been seeing that too?
Yeah, I mean, buying the ships as we go along, yeah, it seems to be that way. Everything seems, I mean, just like, the Herald, it's kind of a, and it's gotta be really hard for y'all because of the fact that, the Herald is such a unique animal. What do you price it at?
Yeah.
It's gotten brand new equipment on it that's never been priced before. That's got to be ultra difficult to try and come up with a price for it.
Was it got like a Redeemer motor on it or something?
One thing we discovered was that it's not necessarily that we want to have more and more expensive ships. If anything, we would like to have much cheaper ships. 75% of all ships are Auroras. We would love to have more ships that we sell to beginners. Problem with Wave 3 and now to some extent Wave 4 is that people are much more excited about larger ships. They want the multi-decked hospital ship or the long-range explorer, and that's going to up the base price to the equivalent of a Constellation to start with. One thing the Herald actually is the smallest of the Wave 3 ships, and we were able to get it below $100 with these specs, and we were very happy about that. I think we're going to see a couple cheaper ones with Wave 4, something like the Bulldog is not going to be in the Constellation range, or I guess now the third starter. That would be great if that wins, because that's you have a lot more free form to design a ship with the starter than you do with one of the very role specific ones, and you build it for that starting player. So fingers crossed there.
Oh, WTF can speak to this more, but as I've been noticing lately that I've been playing a little bit more Arena Commander, or a lot more Arena Commander, that people are showing up and they're asking these questions like, why does this game cost $500? Why does this game cost $750? They have the public opinion for people who are not in the know seems to think that this game is very expensive, and I think it might be because they see a new ship on the front page, and that new ship on the front $275 or something.
Hopefully we will change that a little bit once the Mustangs hit. They're kind of sex up the starting lineup, so there'll be cheaper ways to get into Star Citizen without breaking the bank just to be competitive in Arena Commander, which isn't something we want in the long range. We're also doing the kind of informally calling fake UEC for Arena Commander. It'll come sometime after 1.0, but the idea that you earn credits in the game to play the other ships. It won't apply to the Persistent Universe, but we want to give people a way to fly a Hornet other than paying $150 or whatever. What is a Hornet? 110. So that's all coming.
Okay. What I would like to see, Ben, as far as I love how you have that Aurora package that's $45 and it has the Arena Commander tied in. Will we see more packages like that to where we won't have to go, because some players might think of it a hassle going there, okay, I got to plug Arena Commander and this to get the ship. Are we going to see more like Origin and, the other ones hop on board with Auroras?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of kind of redesigning all the packages to make more sense for people starting the game. We're also redesigning the front page to kind of explain the whole thing better.
Okay.
Chris is shooting a new video where we're kind of changing. We're dividing the kind of newsfeed community stuff from the front page, so it's not as confusing for new players who show up and think, "Oh, you're selling a ship for $300. Why would I be interested in this game?" So that's all going to be done a little bit differently.
Yeah, as we're doing this website redesign, people who first come to the website that are brand new, we have them in mind, and we're doing our best to make because there's a lot of information out there, and so we're doing our best to compress it, make sure that they know exactly how to get into it, what they're getting into, and making it easily accessible for them.
Oh, that was one thing that we were noticing while watching the interview with Chris Roberts in Australia, was that the crowdfunding videos that they had in the beginning were great, and I remember watching them all and getting all excited about the game, but you can see how dated they are, and many people have been asking this, and I'll just go ahead and jump these questions in because they kind of fit what we're doing. Are there plans to have a new sort of flashy commercial style that you have for the other stuff, hype video? And so I'm showing one right now. This is made by a person in the community. It's called Hype Citizen, and basically kind of highlights all the really great commercials, Persistent Universe, and everything, and kind of combines it in so people can see this is what Star Citizen's about, not those older videos.
Yeah,
go ahead. We sat down and we actually shot a new kind of version of the current commercial with Chris, where he talks about Star Citizen today, kind of introduces you better. Then we looked at it and we said, okay, this is cool, but it doesn't really fit the game anymore because it's still, it's Chris in a T-shirt at his desk. We want to show you a little bit more of into the Star Citizen world. So our cinematics department actually has it slated right now as one of our commercials. They're just finishing up the what is it? The Mustang commercial on the event, not the Avenger, the Retaliator. But so one of their big projects is going to be sort of a more immersive, cooler video that's not just Chris talking at you.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome to see a mocap of actual Chris Roberts in the game, actually, just like the British guy on the M50 doing an advertisement for Star Citizen. That would be so awesome and hilarious at the same time.
Give him big, thick muscles.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun.
Chris.
It's kind of funny that this has become such a popular subject all of a sudden. It's just kind of one of those things like a hive mind type of a thing where everybody all of a sudden is talking about it, and we're like, oh, we're already kind of working on something like that. So cool! I'm glad that you guys are looking for it.
I think it was that interview that set us off because everyone's watching that interview and we're watching these videos. But it was cool because it was like a step back. It was like, look, that was before we had PBR. That was before we actually had the Hornet look like it does now. And so it's like, oh, this is cool. It was nostalgic, but then it's like, wait a second. This is what people in Australia actually think what this game looks like. You know?
No.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not all.
That is purely just a very brilliant sort of window into our world. I have how out of date and antiquated our media is.
Oh.
When they're asked to do a thing on Star Citizen, the thing they pick out of all the information available to them is the original Kickstarter video.
But that's what that was actually what it was about, though. They were asking about crowdfunding. So
I know, but the thing was, like, they could have at least shown that and then gone, but this is what it's turned into,
right.
60 million later, but no. And then, of course, they had that outdated and very, the view on, geeks, and, what was it you mentioned, talking about basement dwellers or
we're
something.
all basement dwellers still, yeah, because gamers, the people still around the world think of gamers as being basement dwelling geeks, but a lot of people don't realize that almost everybody in society is a gamer now. Everybody plays on Facebook, Angry Birds, Candy Crush, all these games that are like mega popular, they're games and everybody plays them. So we're all gamers now, so you can give up on this that we all live in a basement kind of thing.
Yeah,
of course I do, but
Unfortunately, that interview was just an embarrassing window into the Australian media and how outdated and antiquated their views are on a lot of things, and it's a little bit embarrassment really watching that going on. No. Please don't use that little tiny window as what the rest of Australia thinks about, gaming and Star Citizen in general. It's just the ABC not knowing jack shit about anything.
Yeah, but I love. Go ahead. Sorry.
We get that all the time in person. I mean, we have. There's a gaming media that absolutely understands how this all works, and then there's kind of the mainstream media, and we'll have interviews who are like, so how do you build the spaceships? Do you make them out of wood and then you scan them?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and I think that is also another reason why so many new people think that this game costs $500 is because all they're seeing is the big flashy titles like, oh, they hit 55 million, they hit 60 million. They're like, oh, this must just cost $1 million to get into, and so they come with that predetermined notion. So that's something that we have to strive to fix and repair. So when they first come to the website, it's like, oh, actually, it's not really that bad.
I know all the streamers are doing that. That's kind of what our job is right now, is to stop that. And I think I've seen most other streamers, and I've been watching a lot of them, and everyone kind of calmly says, "No, let me explain it to you so you understand what's going on." But it's just that misconception means that somewhere there's a disconnect with the marketing department at SIG or something that's not getting the message out the right way. And I'm not saying you're not working on it, obviously, but I'm saying that's something that's probably
there's obviously some confusion there.
Yeah, the confusion. Yeah.
Yep. We agree with you absolutely. I mean, in one sense, I kind of like the Star Citizen is history's biggest told you so, because we're going to have this day in 2015, 2016 where everybody's like, oh, wait, it doesn't cost $500, and LTI doesn't mean anything, and you guys weren't lying to us.
That's going to be awesome.
Kind of looking forward to that, but we should try and get
For a moment there, I thought you were going to go an entirely different way with that. I told you so. But okay, yeah, we'll settle for that.
It'll be so. No, Ben, when the game finally comes out, the front page of Star Citizen website just should say "Neener, Neener." That's it. Nothing else. Just Neener, Neener, and then that's it.
It's like a.
Sorry, this game is only for the people who backed us.
Yeah. Go away. You're not welcome.
For real, though, what I would like to see is just Chris, like, with his arms folded and be like, we're not dead anymore, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Throw back to that first, they thought I was dead.
Oh, yeah. Because there's going to be so much for this game's going to offer people. People who don't want to do nothing but FPS. It's going to offer them something. Mm-hmm. Something who wants to play the economy game. There you go. I mean, there's just so much this game. Yeah, there's so much this game's going to offer that I think it's 2016. It's going to blow people's minds.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, we're releasing so many different types of games in this game that I think that if you like video games, you're probably going to find something that you like.
All right, so Bod, you've been taking the questions and bringing them in. Do we have any direct questions for Ben and or Will so that we could get them, because they only have about a half hour left?
Oh, yeah.
Alan,
Travis.
Was it what?
It's a Travis.
All right, let me just...
I guess Travis wanted to come on next week. Will you want to confirm that with him, Will, while he's sitting there?
Oh, sure. They said that you're supposed to be on next week?
He said it the wrong way.
He says, yeah!
Tell him because he shirked me for the interview Sunday at PAX.
Send him an email.
Okay.
He'll see if his schedule's open. Or if
I've already spoke to him at PAX about it, but I'll send him an email about it to confirm it.
Yeah.
Because he spent an hour and a half in the lineup to play Evolve rather than have our interview.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. We haven't talked about Evolve yet.
Ooh.
We
We played it all weekend with the tribe. It was a lot of fun.
Anyways, so you said no vamping. Let's go back to Torcidizit. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? That's all we do is vamping right now.
What's a big part of it, isn't it?
It is a good part of the show.
You can shame him with that, though.
No shame.
Rather than stand in a
You're
line.
not going to get him on the show if you make him embarrassed.
No.
He's already sitting off camera like, I don't want to be there.
He's fine. We had a good old chat about it and a bit of a laugh. I said, look, you know what? It's fine. I don't mind. You'll make it up to me.
Clifford, did you want to do anything tonight? People are asking in the channel.
What? Do what?
Giveaway?
Yeah, we can do Aurora Pack, get somebody into the game.
Okay, perfect. Yes, there is a giveaway tonight. Clifford is going to donate an Aurora Pack. We were going to give away the ship we've been talking about all night. Herald, but we didn't quite hit our goal. So maybe next week. Okay, got questions, Mr. Bod.
A redeemer. We'll give you guys a redeemer to give away in honor of.
What?
That
gift.
What?
Okay.
Holy crap on a stick!
Love your faces.
It's one for all of us in the show, right? All right, yeah, I guess we got a redeemer to give away. A reamer. Holy crap! Wow.
So this one, do you?
So Domo, when we decide who wins, just send me a Skype message with the email address and preferably forum handle, and we can go ahead and take it from there. So whoever wins, create a forum account or at least have one so we can take care of it.
Oh, so you're going to give away a package so that they can play the whole game?
Yeah, I mean, what use the ship if you don't have a package?
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So so we're giving away a redeemer. It's going to be open to the general public. It's not just a Domo Tribe thing, because this is coming from SIG itself. So everybody who's here tonight is eligible, and we'll give out the information how to enter in just a little bit.
Including me, damn it!
Was it a redeemer or a herald?
You said redeemer.
Oh, okay, redeemer. Oh, that's even awesome.
I know it's a very awesomer ship. Yes.
Yes.
Matter of fact, let me see if I can find a picture of one so people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've walked around in mine and even sat on the toilet and everything.
Did you now?
And if you guys have not seen the site today, we just updated the weapons for the Redeemer to make it a little more powerful.
Oh, and apparently some of the boys have said that the general forums are already in arms about that.
What?
Shake their fists. You making the Redeemer an actual gunship. How dare you?
It doesn't have enough guns, and it's got guns. How dare you?
Yeah, that's right. The people who have it and that were complaining that it hasn't really got very many guns. Now it's got it. They're like, thank you very much, Sig. And now the people are like, but hang on, it's got too many guns.
Do you find I just real quick before we start going in the Q&A, because this actually is something I'm kind of curious about here. We've been hearing a lot about through different things. I don't want to go into all of the different problems that are going on with the world at the moment with game development, but a lot of game developers are getting more death threats and sort of like, the communities are both toxic and supportive at the same time. This is probably more of a question for Will maybe, but how are you seeing the community development as the game is becoming more popular and more people are starting to get into it, and it's easier to play now. Like Arena Commander is actually really fun. Are you noticing that the community is sort of shifting in any way?
So we've had a few cases of stuff that doesn't fall exactly into that box, but stuff that we've had to take action on. One thing that we absolutely take into consideration is people's privacy and make sure that all of that stuff is handled absolutely out of public eye, out of public ear, anything along those lines. But as a whole, I do not see it changing. I just see a few, few people that are breaking that mold. Actually, I mean, as a whole, especially coming after Extra Life, I'm seeing people being more generous and more happy and more helpful in that sense. But, I know exactly what you're talking about. The guy from Destiny got swatted the other day. It's just like, it's terrible. Like what other industry has to deal with this? And it makes it terrifying to be in the industry, to do something that you're so passionate about and that you love. And then also on the same side for you guys, you're streamers. I mean, being a streamer, you get that all the time too. And I just don't understand the mindset of how this is fun. And it just doesn't click for me. And, it's only going to take one time where, the swatting, goes a little bit too far and somebody actually gets hurt from this. That it's like, it's a very tough beast to deal with, and you're like, how do you deal with it? It's scary and it's not cool.
Yeah, as a streamer, I've personally been threatened a few times, and also somebody threatened to swat me one time, and it freaked me right out because I've got kids at the house, and
exactly,
the SWAT team busting down the doors, pointing guns at my kids is just not going to be.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely not.
So yeah, but I don't know. I'm starting to see as the community's growing, it just seems maybe I'm just being more negative, but it seems a little toxic at times. And
oh, absolutely, there's toxicity at times. Especially when whenever we have like a new reveal or something along those lines, there's always going to be those that naysay it. But as far as people getting personally attacking each other, they've been okay. We've actually been pretty level with getting rid of a lot of the toxic users in our forums.
Okay.
And that was one of my things when I came in. I was like, let's go ahead and start taking these people, out of our community, because if they want to be negative, that helps us not at all. And so, you'll see some people that have disappeared from our forums because of those.
Yep.
I would say that the Star Citizen community, it has its ups and its downs, but it's totally different than any other gaming community I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Our toxic users aren't, calling the police or threatening us or going to hurt our wives. They're just very, very, very passionate about odd things.
Yeah.
Yes. That toilet's in the wrong spot, Pen.
No, I've got the perfect example for you. At PAX, I was in between doing my things, doing the rounds around PAX. I decided to help the guys out who were volunteering at the SIG booth, and so I spent nearly 50% of my time behind the desk saying hi to all the backers and the new people. And one special gentleman came up, and he must have thought that we were directly representative of SIG, which we made clear to everyone, look, we're just volunteers, we're all citizens and backers. And he said, I have a very important question for you. And we're like, oh, okay, sure, hit us. And then he's like, the subscriber flare that we get, okay, where's this going? He's talking about the lockers, the locker from another dimension. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. He's like, in one of the lockers there is a very lewd picture of a pixelated lady.
It's very lewd.
And I'm like, it's like an old school pin-up of a chick in a Baywatch swimsuit. And I'm like, yes, I'm familiar with it. I have that in my... He's like, is there any way that we can modify that out? We don't need that sort of thing in this game.
Oh, God.
I'm like...
Well,
look,
actually...
I said to him, look, I'm pretty sure that's actually from one of the games. Like, I'm fairly sure that's in the game, and that's why it's a locker from another dimension. It's sort of a little, Easter egg.
A throwback.
A little Easter egg from one of the previous games, and it's just in there, and he's like, yes, but I don't want to look at that thing every time I open my
Don't
locker,
open
and
the
that's
locker
just,
up there.
that's just, that's exactly what we said. Just don't open that one. But he's like, but I'm a subscriber, and I want to enjoy my subscriber perks, and I don't want to look at that filth.
Oh, jeez. I will be right back, everybody. Keep going. I'll be right back.
Actually, we came very, very... It was a last-minute request for the team to add a second poster that would have been a dude in a Speedo. Eric Peterson, actually.
Oh, my God.
Which would have been another... Because Chris actually did this in the original Wing Commander. You could click on the poster and look at the, pixelated lady in a bikini. And people complained about it then, so in Strike Commander, you could look at the lady in the bikini, or you could look at like a muscly dude, which had Richard Garriott's face on it. So we wanted to add that to the locker from the universe. It just didn't get in the last time, at the last minute.
But yeah, we just said, look, we're really sorry, but you can not look at it. Everyone's got it, and it's really not that bad. And he sort of went off in a huff, and we had a bit of a giggle about it. But as you said, there are people who are just very passionate about the weirdest things. Like he was dead serious too. Like, this was not a troll or anything. You could see in his face he was really upset that there was this poster in his locker. It was quite amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Different strokes, I guess.
But
people... Go ahead.
If you're out there somewhere, locker guy, we would absolutely be happy to swap out your locker for any of the other flair items we've amassed over the years. Write to CS, we'll make that change for you.
There you go. So, Locker Man, I don't know that he watches the show, though.
He may have recognized you.
No, he didn't. I even had a name tag on telling who I was and where I was from, and he needed to know about that locker.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I have to deal with a lot on the forums, too, is because a lot of people are coming at the forums from different walks of life. And, some people find things offensive, some people don't. And I've pretty much come down to the point where we allow 13-year-olds on the forums. And I try to take every ruling as, if I was the parent of a 13-year-old, how would I feel if I saw my kids seeing that? And I feel like that has helped me out the best as to making any type of tough decisions. Because sometimes I'll see forum names that are absolutely unacceptable, but make me laugh. But if I'm the parent of a 13-year-old, do I want to see my kid seeing that? No, and that's where I kind of get my level-headedness from as to what is acceptable and what's not, and where I make my forum rulings.
Gotcha.
Let's go over to the questions, because I'm watching the feed of them here at the bottom, and there's a lot of interesting Star Citizen ones we can answer. So.
I mean, I started asking the ones that are directed at you guys. If it's something quick,
I actually have one real quick on my channel that someone asked. Are asking when the female character models are coming. I have some female viewers who are curious to see when those are going to be in the game.
Shouldn't be laughing.
Or if there's...
You've probably seen in some of our recent commercials, we've got female background characters. They're not quite up to snuff yet, but it's going to be one of the first things we do in the character pipeline. We know we need it.
Mm-hmm. They are certainly coming.
So when they're coming, it'll be good.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the way you phrased that just now, Ryan, I was sitting here going, why did you do that? I
You're
can't
such a
stop laughing.
dirty guy. Or
Sorry.
Take it away, Bod.
Okay. From HexTB Header, question for Ben. Have you seen the alternative Herald design that was photoshopped together and posted on Reddit?
I
put it up on the
saved
screen a minute ago.
I saved it for my weekly community report to the rest of the team, so we're sharing that around.
Okay. From Gearhart to you, Ben. Is it a question about the concept art we was going to mention to be seen this week? I believe it wasn't going to happen. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we there was a schedule mix-up. We thought we were going to get some new Caterpillar art this week. It turned out that had been changed some time ago and nobody had been notified. So unfortunately, we did not have new concept art to put out.
All right. Another one from Hacks. To Ben, have you ever broken your keyboard with the ban hammer?
Actually, the keyboard I use here at home is one of those IBM M types that I have had since I was 6 years old, so I have not broken it. It's one of those immortal keyboards.
All right, we are starting the raffle giveaway now. Type in !CIG. And you have 20 minutes to get into there. In there, you can check to see if you're in there or not by typing in !DKP. And that will, if you have a little K next to your name, you can do it. Okay, I mean. All right.
Okay. From Black Ned, question for Ben. Don't you think the Gladius is a bit overpriced compared to the 325? Basically, because it's only got 3 hard points and no cargo space.
No, I think the Gladius has better quality military equipment, and it has kind of a more dedicated purpose. It'll exist in more limited numbers in the finished universe. It probably makes sense. And once we get a dogfighting, it's going to be up there in Arena Commander for a little while, just because it is so good at the specific thing that this first module happens to be about.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get in mine and float around. I want to get away from the Hornet and get another proper fighter. I want to get in it.
M50 is a very proper fighter.
With 6 long swords.
Oh my god, you're the bane of my existence.
6 long swords. But man, I tell you what, it just tears some stuff up, man. It's just overpowered. It's way overpowered.
It does. I'm trying not to go down the M50 route because I know it's not supposed to be like that. It's not going to be like that forever.
They go down in like 3 hits anyways.
Yeah. You just got to hit them.
Yeah,
no, everybody, this is a
difficult.
public giveaway, so everybody here is welcome. As long as you're here as an interviewer. You should be following, though, because my bot will skip you if you're not following. So please just be follower, and then you'll get in the drawing. I guess I should point thing out the prerequisite. The bot will skip you if you're not following. Make sure you're following. But everybody else, just, yeah, no prerequisites other than that. All right, continue on.
Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Okay, we've got another one from Hacks. Will hacking be able to be spoofed or radar? Will hacking be able to spoof radar telemetry on Herald? Like Edco ships, hide, disguise, relocate real ships.
Yep, that's one of our visions for it.
I'm so excited for that ship.
Yeah, the Herald.
Yeah, Commander movie. There's a moment where they launch a drone and it has the signature of the other ship. We're seeing that as a potential use for the Herald. Yes. The answer is yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, basically you want this little guy on your side, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, from Jordan PH. It's a new class for hard points on the Redeemer, 1 turret or 1 on each side. Do you know information?
Let me pull up the stats here.
Yeah, poor Ben's going to remember the stats for all of these ships.
I know the ones people were confused about the flanks. Those are two turrets on either side of the ship. They're the same ones that the Freelancer has. Let me look at the class 4, though, see what that's referring to. Sorry, I'm at home today, so I don't have immediate access. Yes.
Listen, guys. Once you've entered in once, don't do it again. It'll take you out of the drawing.
Oh, wow.
Not really, but
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Just
just
do it an odd number of times.
the spam is just crazy right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Redeemer stats. So it had added a pair of fixed mount class 1 weapons. Those are forward facing. That's the, okay. It's the flank turrets is what they're asking about. Yeah, there's two of them. So 1 on either side of the ship.
Okay, 1 on either side. Right. Another one from Hacks. Towards Ben. Since it looks like the 3rd starship will win the final ship poll, do you have any hints about ideas? I'm guessing probably not.
Not yet.
I mean, is it at this stage? Is that something you guys have even considered? What sort of starship you may have as a 3rd one? Not that you have any details, but obviously we got the Aurora's like a more generic one, isn't it? The Mustang's more combat focused. I wonder if there's what other area it could maybe be able to take.
I will say we do have ideas. Basically, we kind of have a ship in mind for each of the options when we do one of those polls. So there's something that's going around, but I don't want to spoil Chris's next letter.
Right, this is from Kerberos to you, Ben. What are SIG's plans for eliminating third-party UEC sellers and/or bots used to farm UEC?
That is a good question. One of the things, there's a bunch of different tiers, but the most simple one is just making the way to earn UEC in the game not something that you simply click on. You need to actually fly missions, interact with other people, engage in combat, and win, rather than, click on this route and it gives you enough gold. So that's kind of the initial, the game works differently than the ones you're thinking of level. We also want to significantly tax that sort of thing inside the game system, transferring large amounts of money to other players, prevent that from being an appealing thing in many cases. And beyond that, our philosophy is that we want to stay absolutely active in the game.
We've always been together. We're four of a kind, having fun all day, piling around and laughing away, just best friends.
We know there's all sorts of ways people are going to break the game that we can't imagine yet. Our goal is to have the team at a state where they are good enough to respond very quickly to when what we don't expect happens.
Just build in a ticket system that any time a sum over a certain amount gets sent, the player receives a warning. This will be logged and reported, etc., and etc. Then you're aware, and if that person starts sending, regular cash donations, they're paying for heroin. You know it.
That was a major fail, everybody. I turned it off. I swear to God.
You turned the sub one off. I'm sure.
I turned the sub ones off, the follow ones off. But I forgot the donation one, and it just sang a complete little pretty happy song with Cartman while Ben was talking. So I apologize, Ben. You didn't hear it, but
it's fine.
It was singing away about we're best friends.
That's different.
Okay, there's been a couple of people asked this, and I'm curious about myself, and I know WTF, any streamer of this would be, and that's regarding the Arena Commander. Is there any plans that you know of that they're going to have sort of leagues so you can specify what certain ships, in like an event? So Aurora only dogfighting, for instance. Do you know if that's something that's planned by the web team?
Yeah, that'll come with the lobby system.
Good. I'm sure there's a lot of people with just starter ships who would be very happy.
Yeah, I think that's like a collective sigh of relief from a lot of people.
Yeah, especially in the racing.
Mm-hmm.
If you Aurora,
it's like taking a tier 1 War Thunder ship into a tier 10 battle with a Hornet.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why we're seeing what happens when everybody has an M50 this week. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Wonder what's gonna happen.
You probably won't be playing Arena Commander for a week.
I think I'm sticking away from dogfighting for a week.
I'm gonna be shooting down little pests all week.
We are pests, but it's so awesome because it's so like Star Warsy when you fly by another player and you have that. It's just that really kind of high throttled. Engine
that
sound.
F1 sound.
Yeah.
I don't know though. When I'm playing the Arena Commander and I like to use the Aurora, for instance, the targeting system on that ship, the missiles lock on very quickly. Versus, it's got like I always said in the very beginning that it has plus and minuses. Well, the Aurora has a better missile system on it that locks on a lot quicker.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Temporarily, till they figure out that the Hornet's supposed to have the better missiles.
Right, from Commodus, Ben, you've said that the concept art for the Kepler and Starfarer are ready. Is there any possibility of some sort of ETA when we may see it?
To the best of my knowledge, people have seen most of the concept art that exists. We talk a lot about sending things back for reconcepting, and I think there's kind of a little bit of a disconnect there where people think, oh, we're going to get another set of paintings, and they'll have a new 3D model, and it'll be amazing. The ship will look totally different. Once you've seen a ship and it's getting reconcepted, that means somebody is like carefully working out how the landing gear works, or they're repositioning the internal hull, insides of the hull in some way. It's not sexy new cell pieces anymore, and the ship looks pretty much like it did last time you saw it. That said, the Caterpillar and the Starfarer are in pretty active development right now, so we'll see some in-engine stuff in the nearish future.
When are these bigger ships going to be in the hangar?
Around, I mean, the goal is Arena Commander 2.0 for multi-crew ships.
How do you want to be shooting the pew-pews? I just want to walk around the Reclaimer or 890 Jump. Just
or the Idris.
That doesn't count. But everything else...
Idris, sooner than later, they're actually using that as the basis for the first FPS Arena Commander Together level that they're doing in the UK.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you something. What was that they were running around during the FPS demo? Was that an actual ship, or was that just a base somewhere they were running around?
It's a space station.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember some of the early art. There was like this big circular space station.
It was Gold Horizon.
Gold Horizon Station. Yep, that was the Gold Horizon Station. Or a Gold Horizon Station. I guess they're prefab. They drop them around the universe.
Now, with those, kind of an expansion on that, we're going to see other types of space stations other than just Gold Horizon, right? They're not all going to be the same.
Oh yeah. The Gold Horizon has a particular sort of there's some lore in there. The Gold Horizon built these space stations for terraforming planets, and they've been abandoned and they've been taken in different directions by pirates. So that's one kind of space station in the universe. I think we have Shubin already ready for Squadron 42. Where there's going to be a whole host of space stations.
That thing's massive.
And I have another one here from my channel that they're asking about a Linux version and when we can expect to see something or some progress on that.
There will be a Linux version of the final game. I would not expect like a Linux Arena Commander anytime soon. But we have committed to Star System for Linux at launch, or around launch. I don't want to say at launch.
Yeah. So what he's saying is don't hold your breath.
At launch.
We'll turn it over. 8 minutes, everybody, for this giveaway. Ben and Will are giving away this Redeemer tonight. It's a $265 ship package, which will come with a ship, a Revel New York hangar, digital game soundtrack, 5,000 UEC, and a bunch of other goodies on there. So, if you want to get in, just type in !CIG and make sure you're following. Okay.
I do have a question about the FPS and the Arena Commander Pass. I've had a lot of people mention it in chat, and also they've asked me while I've been streaming. Those of us who've already backed and we've got the alpha, we're obviously going to get access into the FPS when it becomes available. But for those who didn't get alpha backing, who have actually purchased the Arena Commander Pass, will they have to purchase a different pass to get into FPS, or will the one they've already purchased get them into it?
I know that there will be a separate FPS pass for the module. It won't block you from doing stuff like FPS in Arena Commander once it all comes together. It'll just be for kind of the FPS game that exists for part of next year.
Sure.
And do you know how many more passes there will be? Like, how many more different modules we'll need?
PlanetSide will require a $75 pass.
PlanetSide will be another one. That may be the only one that needs a special pass, because a lot of the other stuff like the mining and the exploration is just kind of will be a smaller thing that's integrated into an existing module. So I mean that seems fair. If that back earlier and getting alpha saves you $15.
Yeah, by a month.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I got another one here from iKerbals regarding the FPS module. He's asking if you have any idea how many modes or maps there'll be at launch.
Not yet. We can't announce it yet anyway.
Okay.
One thing we found with Arena Commander is, we set out to have a million different modes. We got a couple that worked really, really well at launch, and then other surprise stuff just happened very quickly, like the racing. We didn't have that on our schedule until the UK did such an amazing job playing around with it. So whatever I would say right now wouldn't even be accurate.
Yeah, I still want to use my guns in racing. That's what I want. Racing mode with guns.
Like Mario Kart.
Yeah,
cool, isn't it? Okay, from the Knight Rider. Ben, dropped mines. What would that would have a warp bubble to send following enemy ships out of the system if they enter the blast area?
That's a neat idea.
Sound like a cool.
But is that even possible? Because it's not like Elite Dangerous where you warp anywhere. I see what he's saying. He's like a warp mine. You drop a warp mine and it warp.
It doesn't quite work with our system, but I could see like an EMP mine that knocks out your engines or sends you shooting off in some different direction. There's a lot of options for mines.
EMP mines would be fantastic.
One thing from all our experiences, mines are not much fun in space sims. Like the original Wing Commander, you have mines and nobody used them because they weren't interesting. So we're paying special attention to try to make them cooler. I think it's because they fall in back of you and you don't see the hit. And,
right.
But we're looking at ways to make them interesting.
Okay, got another one from Hacks for Ben or Will. Do you know when the official mechanics and by extension law for AI and fast travel will be established?
Official mechanics for AI and fast travel. It's actually in progress right now. We're talking about the whole quantum travel thing at a lore level. You will see it kind of in action, experimenting with it by, I think it's AC 3 system to system. So certainly by then, we'll probably have spec'd it all out on the website well before that. Right now, it's kind of at the stage where we think we know how it's going to work, and we need to actually test it.
Well, real quick, people are asking a lot about this, not just Thunderbrand brand. The anniversary sale date, is that still a go?
We will be doing something for the anniversary. Can't announce details or even a specific date yet, but you guys know when the anniversary is. You can figure out it'll be around then. When we're gonna listen to the feedback from last year, so no, this ship is only available for 12 hours anymore.
Oh, come on, that was great. Stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning.
But well, I mean, let me ask the universe to go to the RSI forums. Let us know what you want to see in the anniversary sale, and we will take that feedback into account.
Idris.
More Idrises.
I want to buy a space station.
Shubin. I want Shubin. Is what
How
I
much
want.
is the Shubin?
Okay. Those are the questions that were listed that were directed directly at Ben or Will. There's a couple of questions I've seen pop around quite a lot regarding specifically when certain ships are coming, but that's obviously not information that you guys would really know. But as far as the Avengers do you know roughly? Can you give the information roughly how many in the future it's going to be before we see the Avengers?
The Avenger, we're shooting to have it by 1.0, but not the variant. So you'll see the base Avenger in the not too distant future, and the variants coming probably earlier next year.
Shoot those penguins out of the sky.
I want to know more about the Javelin. I'd like to see more of the Javelin.
Javelin and a lot of the other Squadron 42 stuff is going to come more as we get close to Episode 1.
Yeah.
Just because we keep a lid on some Squadron 42 stuff just because we want you to experience it in the game rather than showing it off on the website.
So the Javelin will never go on sale except in the PU, right?
It's the Destroyer. Possible we could sell it. We're leaning against it right now.
Okay.
Against selling it or against?
Against it.
Okay.
Are they leaning against selling it?
Oh. I would so buy it.
All right. We have 1 minute left. One last question, Bod, and then we're going to do the giveaway. And then I think Ben and Will, we're going to GTFO.
All right. I'm just going to ask this. Right. So we just asked ones that just came in. Just on this question of the Avenger Steel from Jordan PH. When will we see the concept for the new Avenger variants?
That's a good question. I have not seen them yet myself yet. So, well, actually, I can say with the variant sale, it won't be until they're ready. We show off variants when they're actually in the hangar. So it'll be a little time, probably early next year for Avenger variants.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go, guys. 20 seconds. Make sure you type an exclamation point CIG.
If you do it again now and you've already done it, you'll get taken out.
If you do it again, you're already done and you get taken out.
I already fell for that. Not gonna happen again.
But did you enter too, Will? You want the Redeemer, don't you?
No, I'm alright.
Alright. Here we go, guys.
You want the Redeemer.
Alright, 1 second. Good luck. We had, how many people enter? 279 viewers enter. Not bad. Not bad.
That's how many people were active.
Right. That's crazy because we have 480 people watching, but I figured more people would have come in.
Some people love to lurk.
Yeah, they lurk.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Good luck, everybody. May the odds be in your favor and shit. Okay.
Nice. Philosophical and stuff, yeah.
Oh, Jiru, you're not following. What did I tell you guys? You're not following, and it's gonna skip you. You won and you lost at the same time.
Oh, too bad.
Make sure you guys are following. Heavy Gamer TV. Heavy Gamer TV with a 0.4% chance to win and following the stream since 1 October 14. Heavy Gamer, say something. You got 1 minute to say something in the chat, or it skips and goes to the next guy.
Come on, say nothing, let it go.
Say nothing to the next
let it
person.
go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. I'm not holding
Let
back
it
anymore.
go. Let it go.
Oh no.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
No,
Call him out.
I'm watching.
Don't
I have
call him out.
my bot. Oh, wow! Thank you very much. He said it. Yay, Heavy Gamer!
Congratulations!
You just won a $275 ship. Bye-bye.
So, Heavy Gamer, if you don't have a forum account, please create one. Get that information to Domo.
Yep. Well, so yeah, send me the message too. We need to have your Cloud Imperium Games email address and your handle as well. Congratulations. I'm kind of jelly. Jelly. I wanted a Redeemer, I just don't have the money. So cool. All right. Thank you, Will and Ben, for being here tonight.
Yeah, no. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. Ben is deep in thought.
Yeah. How he says thank you, yes.
It is. He's like, I'm going to stare at the screen.
We'll see you guys soon.
Yeah,
All right.
Thank you for all that y'all do.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, thank you very
guys.
much, and we'll catch you later.
All right. All right, everybody. Give me a minute. I'm gonna have to fiddle around with the layout here once Ben and Will leave. Okay, they left, so it's gonna mess up the whole layout of the screen. So give me uno momento, por favor.
Oh, you do it there, StarCast, but I like it.
What is that? StarCast. While I'm getting everything sort of sorted, why don't you tell us a little bit about PAX?
Your experiences.
Your experiences at the PAX.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, Stockus, I did want to reach in there to you and say, hey, on Around the Verse, that when they did the footage of Australia, Chris Roberts gave y'all a big Australia's fabulous. They're one of the biggest hardcore backers of the game. Yada yada spiel. I caught that.
No, and I think it's actually backed by numbers where, you know, there's only like 23 million people in Australia, and of all of the Australian people who are backers, if you average out how much Australians have spent over compared to any other nation, I think we are the highest average backers out of everyone, out of Europe, out of the US, because there's only so many of us. You know, we're all tiny little criminals down here, thieving people's wallets to spend on Star Citizen.
Well, that's probably true.
That's probably why there's more, you guys have got more, because you're all ex-convicts and you're.
That's right. We still
loaded.
When he says Australia, does he mean Australia or Oceania? Because there was some confusion about that on the forums.
Well, he said specifically Australia, so.
Okay. No, because there was something interesting that a fellow Imperium member posted about the Australian server is going to be based out of Singapore, and in that concept, of course, Australian was not the right word to use. It needed to be the Oceanic.
Yeah, I don't think he was using that kind of basis. I think they're being smart in their strategic placing of the the server to be able to cater to as many people as possible. Because, I mean, if it was smack bang in Sydney or Melbourne, it would really literally only be good for us in New Zealand, and it would be shit for anyone else. But in Singapore, it's kind of good for us, and it's good for the oceanic region as well. So.
But they've also said that they would like to have a server there. The thing is, the Google Compute, I believe that's what it's called, servers there aren't any in Australia. But at the same time, they also said that they can use external servers as well, and they'll spin those up later on down the road. So to expect those in. That's what Chris Roberts actually said on the forum.
Let me ask you something, Stockis. You play Star Citizen right now as it is. Is it really laggy for you?
It can be.
Can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're playing multiplayer, it can be. It really just depends on the time of the day that I'm playing and the traffic between here and the servers. But I have experienced pretty shocking lag time to time. It's not constant, but you know, it will be a major issue when you start getting to the point where we're talking about instances and first-person combat. I mean, when you're racing someone in a ship, it's really not that much of a deal until you sort of, you know, you're neck and neck, and then you run into someone like Saurus, or
yeah, we've done that before.
Or I've done it to Bod as well, and yeah. So you know, that's not much of an issue. But when you're playing like a first-person combat, and latency is a very important thing as to if you see someone, you know, half a second before someone else, or not even that, a third of a second before someone else, you get the first shot off in a game and especially in a style of combat like the first person is, that can be the difference between you surviving or dying.
Yeah, you guys keep typing in exclamation point SIG, it's over.
Yeah, I think they're just coming in and it's in on the screen still.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
But, you know, and Stockis, I think, you know, you're geared more in line with, like I am, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of the extra other stuff, not mainly combat, and I don't think that's going to really hinder you at all, because we're going to be traveling from point A to point B to go get cargo, do some trades, and so I think it would be just fine.
Well, I mean, it will come into it, though. I mean, even when you're just doing that, if you happen to come across someone, if you come out of a jump point and there happens to be someone waiting for you on the other side to relieve you of your cargo, and you're kind of forced to retaliate or defend yourself, in that instance where it's just you guys in that particular area of space, it probably won't be a problem. But if you happen to come into an area where there was 50 ships all going guns blazing at that one moment, then I could see there could be some issues with lag. But who knows? We can't really say anything until until you actually get into it and start experiencing what kind of issues they have.
Yeah.
So PAX was a thing that happened. It was a thing that happened. It was
DNA.
It's hazy moments.
I saw no pictures of mankinis.
No.
To the hotel room, I guess.
No mankinis.
Tell us about the FPS module. Did you get a chance to play it at all, or is it only just on the screen?
No, unfortunately, there was no ability to play. No one got their hands on it. I did get to see it twice, though, so that was kind of cool. Got let in an hour early with the press, and we got to sit down and pick our seats inside the theater. And as we walked in, Chris was practicing his little speech about, this, and we're like, okay, so he's practicing his speech. But then it come to the point where they were going to do their FPS demo, and they actually did a dry run of the demo. They started running around, and so we got to see the intro with the Redeemer. So we knew that ship was coming an hour before anyone got to see it. And yeah, there was a little bit of a bug the first time they loaded into the game from the back of the Redeemer. I don't know if anyone's got a Redeemer and they've actually gone and sat in the cockpit. in the first-person view, and you look down at your character's
arms.
hands. They're all bent backwards almost on themselves. When they first logged in the first-person shooter, they actually had that bug. Like, they were holding their guns with their arms broken. and like one of the guys, I don't have a model gun in front of me here, but one of the guys pulled out his pistol, and it was literally like the pistol was just stuck
stuck to his hand.
just stuck to his palm, like, but not even facing forward, like facing sideways.
So it's not ready yet for consumption.
And he was like trying to shoot, and he was aiming around, and then Chris saw that, and he's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna have to restart." So they had to restart it, and then they started it again, and it was all fine. They loaded up and they did a bit of shooting, and
And I said no monkey business.
they showed the recoil. They were testing, camera angles to show the recoil and stuff like that. We got to see them lay down the energy shield, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And the hologram.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, when we were watching it, we were only watching from one side at a time. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but there are actually two types of HUD. There's the current HUD that we're seeing at the moment, which is like a white, light blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got.
And then there's a yellow one that's actually two completely different HUDs.
Pirate.
Could be one's UEE and one's pirate. I don't know. Probably it's just going to be red versus blue or something,
Yeah.
Well, I hope for HUD colors that you're just allowed to change them, because we're so used to just being allowed to, customize the way our HUDs look, in the sense that colors, especially for the people who, have issues with colors, would like to be able to pick their color, just to have a little bit of better.
Colorblind people, yeah.
I think eventually you probably will be.
There we
whether or
go.
not-
On the screen coming right now, just go to orange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that just goes to show that there's there's going to be many different types of helmets to wear, and they'll have different kind of layouts.
Yeah, so we didn't actually get to see from the perspective of the player that laid down that the
Shield?
holographic. No, the holographic decoy.
Okay.
There's an actual holo decoy where they throw down a little box and it pops up a full-on holograph of a dude holding a gun. And one of the dudes comes around the corner and he sees it and he puts a couple of shots into it, but then it's nothing. It's like, it's a hologram, it's a decoy.
That's awesome.
They know we're coming. So that's some pretty awesome stuff. The EMP grenade was something that got people really hard. Like really, just the effect of it exploding in front of the guy, and then his HUD just basically shitting itself for about a second, and then coming back on again, and then there was like a little aftershock and stuff. That was and the noise it made in the cinema, like in the theater, was pretty intense too.
Yeah, we couldn't hear that great because I think it was breaking up at that point when we were watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried. I was worried about that, what it would come through like on the stream, but in the actual theater, it was beautiful and perfect and loud, and the sound there was fantastic. So it's a shame that it didn't come through properly in the stream, because it was really intense when it went off. It was. You remember in was it Star Wars number 2? Is it number 2 where those impact detonations go off?
Thermal detonators?
No,
Is it the one where the Gungans are throwing them and they're knocking down the shields and stuff?
No, it's when Jango Fett is chasing Obi-Wan. And they're doing that little battle in space, and he drops those mines, and it basically like implodes, and then there's nothing for a second, but then there's this really loud bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it felt like that in the theater while we were watching it. It was like it went off, and it was like, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" And we're sort of sitting there masturbating quietly under our chairs. And then. The shotgun seemed a little bit useless, to be honest. I saw a couple of the guys using the electronic shotgun, and you could see this multiple streaks of blue, like electricity being shot across the rooms and stuff, but I never saw one of them actually hit anything. I didn't. I seriously didn't.
They didn't look very good at FPS.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the developers. It's.
I did mention that too, and I didn't want, and because I didn't want to sound negative towards the guys that were playing it, because I understand they're the guys who were developing it, and they weren't going to just let random people on to play it and stuff. But I did get the idea that could have been showcased a little bit better.
Let's not stand on ceremony, gentlemen. Heads on a swivel.
Yeah, we've heard it like 100 times now because I keep watching it. Like, heads on a swivel.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like,
every time we play an FPS.
Exactly, straight out of a Marine start the mission off thing.
No, so it's not that they were bad. It's just that they've said from the outset that you're not going to be able to just Rambo straight away with the guns. Like, you have to take aim, you have to burst fire, you have to account for recoil. So what's one of the first things that one of the guys does when he yells out, contact, right, and he just starts and he just starts smashing the window, and I'm like, wait, what?
Well, we did, just from seeing it, having played a lot of FPS, that looked staged as a motherfucker. There's just no way around that. I mean, of course it was, because they had, if they were playing at normal speed, they probably, the fight would have ended in a matter of 10, 20 seconds. But because that...
I don't know, they didn't seem to be able to hit anything.
Yeah,
well, that might be, if it wasn't staged, then that is an issue on the fact that weapons in that thing are completely non-weapony yet.
I don't think it was staged, because, like I said, they did a dry run through, and it played out actually completely different to the way that the one ended up going that they played on the stream. They took different tactics, they tried different things. They ended up in a completely different scenario. Like, when I first watched it, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty awesome. Then they did the one on the stream, and then it was like, hang on, this makes no sense.
That's the impression I got when I watched it. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And it's just like, I don't remember what exact scene it was, but he sees someone, he stops, he takes aim, aims right at the guy, holds down his trigger, and the gun goes everywhere, and he doesn't hit the guy more than once. The guy turns around, shoots him, and I'm like, you're aiming at someone who's not aiming at you, and you full auto, and I don't.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I got the impression that I don't know whether it's just the mechanics aren't 100% finished, or whether these guys just aren't that great at playing their own game. Because let's be honest, just because you can make a game doesn't make you really good at a game. But I'm going to reserve judgment that maybe it's just, not finished, because it's certainly not.
It could have been that those guns that they picked were just highly, highly inaccurate at life.
I think I think they made a point of basically someone had each kind of the weapons. I mean, the only one you didn't get to see was the microwave beam weapon, but I'm pretty sure someone had the assault rifles, someone had the pistols, someone had the shotguns, someone had the machine, or the laser pistol, or whatever it was, the laser rifle. I'm pretty sure they just made sure they had a variety of all the different weapons. That might not mean that those weapons are specifically good in that particular instance. Like the shotgun, I saw in the anti-grav section, like you'll probably see it in the video that's playing, they're all floating around. You can just see these blue streaks flying across long distance. It's like, what are you trying to do? Like, are you actually just trying to shoot yourself around? Like, oh, I gotta go this way.
It's not a confetti machine.
Yeah, you use a pistol in that instance till you get close, and then switch the shotgun and blow their face off.
I was hoping we were gonna see more gadgets, and even maybe I was hoping also for a tease. I didn't want to see the whole thing, maybe the whole thing, but a tease of the Titan armor.
Yeah, I don't know that any of the armor's finished.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, other than like what they're wearing now, it just seems to be light, medium class armor.
What if they're going to have
But
some
other
kind
gadgets
of
would have been cool.
some kind of like boots that you can turn on and off, like a button that you can turn them on, and then all of a sudden you're magnetically locked to the deck, and then let them go.
Yeah, they've got grav boots.
So they got grab boots. Oh.
Yep.
So you can jump up on a wall and kind of hold yourself there.
Yes, you can. I think you can in anti-grav. Yeah. In 0G, yeah.
But I would assume that wearing anti-grav boots when there is gravity makes you slower. But when there is
only when they're turned on.
Well, no. I would just the way that I would figure it, right? Because you saw them all floating around in space. I would say that it, if they are going the armor route, it's an equipment choice. Either you wear them for the possibility of fighting in 0G, but it makes you a bit slower in gravity, or you don't wear them and it makes you faster in gravity. But when 0G happens, you start floating like a madman.
I just thought of something. What happens if you're standing on a wall? Like, obviously, we can't answer this yet, but if you're standing on a wall or standing on the roof and the gravity comes back on,
you break your ankles, is what happens. I can promise you that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're standing like this and done.
Unless they're magnetic,
Yeah, but if they're magnetic, you still like flop over and then you're hanging.
Unless they have
ceiling.
enough support to go, to just above your knees, then you won't flop over. But in most cases, you'll break your ankles.
From my understanding, they have enough magnetism to stick you to the ground and to be able to walk up walls and hang off a ceiling in 0G, but the second there's any kind of gravity, you'd literally just fall off. Like, you wouldn't be able to turn them on and then walk up a wall in gravity.
Right, okay.
So...
hey guys, just real quick, while we were doing that other giveaway, we went significantly over 20,000 followers.
Awesome.
Hit a big goal there. So I'm doing a $25 gift card giveaway for that. Put the thing up on the screen. So all you do is type in exclamation point 20K hype, 20,000 hype. That'll enter you in the raffle. Here we go.
Yay, Domo.
Yay.
It's just a number, but
yeah, that's a little.
So many people are going to get those zeros wrong.
it's okay. But that's the trick. It's like a puzzle.
What I thought was cool looking at the FPS when I was, analyzing with these pictures and zooming in on different aspects of the hood. One thing you'll notice when they're using their bullets, unlike conventional FPSs where you just reload it and you still keep the same amount of bullets you had overall, if you dump a clip and it has 2 bullets, you lose those 2 bullets. They're gone.
Well, yeah, that's the Arma style of...
yeah, which I love that. I love they're true to the actual real life.
I don't know. That's always it's always tricky because it always get this thing like reload up on the screen, like, oh, gotta reload, but you really had 2 bullets, so you end up chucking them.
Well,
I didn't really chuck them yet.
The reload thing doesn't come on screen when you're playing Arma. Well, Arma 2 anyway. I don't know if it's in Arma 3, but in Arma they don't do that. So if they're shooting for Arma style, they won't have a reload in the middle of your screen. It will be
Arma 3 does.
Arma 3 does. Okay. Well, Arma 2 didn't. So
there's a little magazine image.
Okay.
But you need to reload. God damn it! I have to do a 20-second animation. This is bullshit.
But at least in Arma 2, you did keep your clips, even though they were, almost depleted. You'd keep your clips unless they were fully depleted. So you would always be able to reload back to that clip. But
Knight Rider's got his dog tags.
Yeah, I think they're aiming. I think they're aiming for that. Where if you've got 4 magazines on your armor, and you basically just had an unloaded weapon and you loaded in a weapon, it would just pick the magazine that's the fullest and load it in first. But you should, if you shot off 6 rounds and then unloaded your weapon, that magazine with those 6 less rounds will go onto your armor, and then so the next time you pull that magazine off, it'll have the minus those 6 rounds. Yeah,
there's an interesting concept. I'm not saying I would fully, I would be fully for them putting it in FPS for Star Citizen, but in Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, what they have is a difference between speed loading and normal reloading. as in you're able to normally reload. However, if you interrupt your reloading because you need to perform a different action or because you're sprinting or whatever, then you lose the ammo that was in the clips because you've just slotted new ones in. And that way you can reload slightly faster. But if you slowly reload, as in you stand still or are walking or aren't sprinting or anything like that, then the clips go back into your pool and you're allowed to use them again. I'm not saying Star Citizen would need to opt for something like that, but it's just an interesting new FPS thing.
Someone asked Travis about that during their extra live stream, and he basically said if you're in the animation of reloading and your guy pulls the magazine out, but then you melee someone or you throw a grenade or something, and then you go back to reloading that weapon, you will basically just start off from where you were. So if you've already pulled the magazine out, all you'll see is the guy putting a new magazine in, and away you go.
Right.
So you won't have to redo the animation all over again.
Right, okay, no, but the only added thing from AW would be that if you were interrupted because you had to punch someone, you'd drop the clip.
You won't drop it, from what I understand.
Okay, no, just...
Okay. And then also seeing the hood design, I noticed on the map where they're showing, your friendlies, you see them constantly, but the enemy, you do not see them constantly unless they're firing or they're made aware of their presence, basically, because you'll see the red bleep go on, and then it'll fade away. And then they'll come back up and then fade away. So I'm thinking it references the sound or, your character's awareness that you spotted them. But it goes away once they're out of your view. And the little red dot will go away on your map. I noticed that. So you can't know constantly where your enemy is, which I kind of like that. Just like you would in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the days of having a static mini map with just all your enemies and stuff on it are pretty much well and gone. There's pretty much not a current shooter today that doesn't have something similar to that. If an enemy is firing and they're close to you, then they'll show up on the mini map.
Yep.
If you've physically spotted them on the line of sight, they'll be on there.
If a UAV spots them for you, if someone else spots it for you, all those things will be relayed to your minimap. It's kind of like radio control in games like World of Tanks. Like if you're out of radio range, you don't know where everything is anymore. But every game will probably have a minimap type variant. I mean, it's just kind of the standard.
I think what's going to come into play with those is the different types of grenades, though, that you'll be able to get, like the radar grenade and what was one? One was an infrared grenade, I think.
I know that AW has what they call threat grenades, as in you just throw the grenade.
The other person.
No,
I don't like you. Your mother was a hamster.
What it actually does is it shows all enemies within the range of the explosion of that grenade on your screen for a good 5 seconds. They just ping up as threats.
Okay, because I noticed when one of the guys was holding the grenade, it says FPG on it. I don't know if that is that. I don't know what that's. Manufacturer, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we only know about bearing, right? I don't think we know about, like, bearing. I don't know if the ship weapon manufacturers make hand guns as well. I just do know that that bearing does have some weapons for FPS. So we may see stuff from Joker and stuff as well, but we're also probably going to see other manufacturers in there and stuff, to make it feel like a more living, breathing universe.
All right, Mr. Bot, have we still been collecting up questions, right?
Yeah. Well, there's still questions that we didn't ask from before.
Okay, we still have 30 minutes, so you want to go on into our Q&A for the rest of those questions people are asking?
Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, these ones we asked before were the ones that specifically were directed at bed. Some of the others may have been directed at them, but they didn't specifically say, so
okay.
We can just...
We'll wing it. We're good.
Do our normal stuff with those. Okay.
If all those fellas just wing it.
Well, of course you can wing it. I'm just getting back to where we started.
One thing I did want to say that they had mentioned in around the verse that Arena Commander will be in French soon. So Frankie, there you go. It will be in French soon. Amongst German will come second, I believe. Been mentioned.
Is that just the localization of the UI or the voice as well?
I think it's the voice as well. I think it's like fully on French, basically, from what I understood.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh. And they also mentioned while he's looking at these, they also mentioned in the cockpit, they updated, you'll find there's updated panels and switches and stuff. Those will have a purpose later, what they had mentioned. And then also, of course, we already talked about that the Starfarer and Caterpillar, they're in concept going to white boxing now, so we should see those pretty soon.
My friend speaks French. It's like the third most popular language in the world.
Yeah, you also have to remember, like, who's based in Quebec, right? So they have studios that speak French. So
Yeah.
that's probably is a good push to it as well.
Now, Cor, I wanted to point this to you. I know they were talking about that the Idris, it was their test level, the Idris is ready, but I wanted to know, is that still on par to be outside of our hangars, or the way he was talking is going to be, actually we'll be able to see it in our hangar, the way he was talking, but...
I think when they say in our hangar, they don't mean
yeah,
in our hangar, they mean in the hangar module.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, any ship over 100 meters, I mean, they've played fast and loose with the dimensions of what, you know, since they got the new hangars. But any ship over 100 meters is probably not going to be in the hangar. It'll be just outside of the hangar. And we probably already discussed this a few times. It'll probably just be a door in your hangar that you go through, and then there's like a pad, and there it'll sit. That would be the most logical. Yeah.
You ready, Bud?
Yeah. Okay, so when we ask the questions for the people that did ask them, if they was directed directly at SIG, then sorry. But we can speculate and give you our thoughts.
I'm good at that part.
Yeah. So first one I got is from Crazy Animal, and this is not something we can answer, but it's something that's really bugging me. So I'm going to mention it. He basically was asking about ETR and HUD itemization because the lag pips are so hard to see, and yes, I cannot see the fucking things.
It drives me nuts when I'm facing, like I'm on the broken moon and I'm spinning around.
I want to change them bright pink or bright purple.
Yeah, you can't see
something blatantly easy to see.
I found what it was exact, because I was like, my ship, something's different. Something was a lot different, and I know what it is, and I know why the M50 feels more fidgety now, and everything to me. It's because for the mouse mode that I use, where I have like that free reticle, the dead zone has been shrunk significantly. So it's like the dead zone is now only like a centimeter away from the center target instead of like 3 or 4. So now when I move around, I don't have my free mouse, like just sort of to look around a little bit. It actually moves my ship anytime I need to do that. So it was feeling like that's why everything feels more fidgety and weird. And then also the pip, I noticed, for me anyways, a lot of people said they weren't experiencing the same thing, but I showed it on my stream. The pip is actually magnetizing to my center crosshair. Like if I have someone just off of the crosshair, I'll try and aim up onto them, and I won't be able to target them because it magnetizes to my, like, it's attracted to the center crosshair, and I can't hit them. So yeah, that's been really frustrating.
Weird.
You liked it sloppy, but people in the audience were saying they really liked it.
Nobody liked it sloppy. I was the only person who liked it that way. Yeah. I would just like to hopefully be able to adjust this set, how big that dead space is later on.
The problem is you are, you know, unlike most others, you've played with it so much.
Right.
You got used to it.
Yeah.
And because you got used to it, any changes to it after that are not in, you know.
Yeah. That change it, but yeah, and then so when I have that, when it feels like super fidgety, and then when it has the magnetizing thing at the same time, and then you have all those missiles that you can't get rid of and stuff, like it's
just compounds itself.
Stop smiling, Clifford.
Why?
You know, I know why you're smiling, you bastard.
Why am I smiling? I mean, it's just level playing field. That's all I say.
Oh, level playing field.
Yeah.
StarCast and WTF are not amused.
Well,
too.
I'm only pissed because I can't use relative mode.
Now, what does
Yeah.
that mean? I heard you talking about this.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the difference there?
Relative mode is what locks the reticle to the middle of the screen. So
Oh, okay.
if you move the mouse, it moves the nose of the ship. There's no free floating reticle until you go to out of that dead zone, and then your ship moves. Like you can't point at a target and sort of follow it around in front of you, shooting at it. You're literally moving the nose of your ship as it locks it, and that's how I fly, and that's how I race. That's how I fight. Like I prefer to fight that way. It just does not work.
It sounds like they're going more of the route of reflecting, like if you're that person in a cockpit, well, you're using a stick to move your dial. It's just like in flight and combat, you're moving the glass and everything in that dial to point to your target to hit it. And I think that's what they're trying to mirror image.
There's only two of us here that use HOTAS. So I think
it's
Soon.
we are,
Yeah.
we're in the minority here, Cliff. Gotta be gentle.
Well,
It's not that they've changed it. It's not that they've changed anything about it. It physically, you cannot engage relative mode when I play the game.
Okay.
It just does not work. Like it's supposed to work. They've not changed the
It's a
key
broken thing.
bindings.
Okay.
Whatever it
Yeah.
is,
So
I
they're
sit
probably
there and I set the, like when I was trying to play with you this morning.
Yeah.
I sat there like floating in space for 5 minutes while people are shooting at me and flying around me, and I'm sitting there, Control C, nothing. My thing's moving around.
Okay.
That's the way it was for me when the HOTAS, when I couldn't get it to do some of the functions. I'm like, okay, come on, and it wouldn't go, and I'm like, damn it! That's why I was raging so much. Couldn't get it to even.
Yeah.
But we fixed that, at least on my end.
Yeah, me too. I was having the same trouble where, every constantly I load the game up, my throttle would make me yaw all over the place. I was like, why? I got it mapped, and I have to go back in there, remap it, but now I tried it out with their just straight up the SIG's mapping system, and it seems to be working now. When they do a patch, that's going to be a learning experience there.
Yeah, so if you have a HOTAS, you can actually set it up pretty effectively now within the SIG's own thing.
Yeah.
But I still think the Warthog is best set up outside with that external mapper program.
Yeah, it just gives you more options, I think. They're supposed to be adding more key bindings to the joy, because a lot of people have been complaining that, hey, I got more buttons here, and there's not enough options to add those in, and I think that's going to come later. But, yeah, they definitely still needs improvement on whether it's a HOTAS, mouse, game controller. It's just going to be a work in progress over time to get it just right. But they'll get there.
Yep. All right, bud.
Yep. Demon Awful. He asked, will multiple heralds be able to link up for more boost electronic warfare? That's nice.
What did you say? I couldn't hear what you said.
Just questioning if multiple heralds could link up together for extra boost or extra power in electronic warfare.
This is a daisy chain of heralds.
That'd be good.
Everybody's jamming each other's jamming.
The people that've got more than one in the hangar, they can just bond them together in a hangar before they go.
I thought it'd be cool if you could just take off the thrusters of the Cutlass and just replace them with two heralds. I mean, they're the same size engines or whatever, right?
Yeah, way bigger than on the Cutlass.
Great Cutlass combined!
Here, hold on. I'll show you my
No,
desktop.
the herald engines are... Yeah, but the herald sizes, the engine sizes are the same. The armor for them's bigger.
Yeah, because they're
They're
housing the
monsters.
fuel. They're probably
Yeah.
housing
Yeah.
the fuel and all that stuff around.
I don't know.
it.
They look gnarly. Because it's
Yeah.
like... it looks to be almost the same size as the 890 Jumps engines.
No, if you look at their stats,
Maybe the
I think
stats,
they're the
sure,
same
but-
size, but...
Yeah. But it's,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
they are huge.
like that one you were saying, Bob, about I thought about daisy chaining a lot of reclaimers, and that'd be like a floating brick wall coming toward you because they're
With the
just so
big, chumpy,
bulky.
pointy teeth.
Yeah.
All right, next.
I'm just scanning through the questions to ones that we were answered inadvertently or we already asked them. Okay, I've got a question from T-Bonks. This will be one we can definitely... Well, you guys will definitely be vapid on. From T-Box, my brother-in-law is wondering if it's possible to start a game from PlanetSide from scratch with with nothing.
No,
work
they've
your way
said
from there.
repeatedly you need a ship. They won't let you come in the game without a ship. Pretty sure, unless they've changed that. Is it?
They said that they might change it for FPS, but you'll be collecting UEC throughout your Squadron 42 experience, and I'm assuming that's going to be at least enough to buy a ship, right?
Well,
they don't want to.
Well, yeah, I remember them mentioning, though, people who say couldn't afford a ship, yeah, you buy whatever the game's going to be worth at the time of, full launch. But they said that there would be, like, maybe a loan system where you can get a start ship, but you got to pay it back. Basically, you're in debt, and you got to pay it back before you can buy any other ships or do anything else. You got to pay that ship off, basically.
The red circular ship's the Banu...
The Xi'an Scout?
Xi'an Scout. No, the circular one I think was the one that was in the concept art, but I haven't actually seen a real ship of it yet. Have you?
Oh, that weird round looking?
It's a round ship.
Oh, that's... is that Xi'an?
It's like a vertical ship. I think it's still a Xi'an.
Probably Xi'an, yeah. But...
Yeah.
I think it's
a Xi'an cruiser.
The only time I've seen it was when they had that one planet side old demo, and they had it. They had it parked. Yeah, they had it parked there with the other two. Yep. Yeah, that's the only time I've seen it actually in an engine.
Yeah, they didn't release any info about it. They were just like, "Here's a round donut."
Water, you might be right. I might be completely wrong. The last thing I remembered was they said that you could.
Xenoserif. He's querying whether the rover from it and a killer will be able to fit in the Freelancer Dur. It would make sense if you could get it in there somehow, because obviously with it being an exploration ship.
What now?
I don't know.
The rover. The rover, which is the Lambda, the lunar Lambda.
It looked
type.
pretty wide. Maybe in a Max.
I think a Max, sure. I don't know about a Dur.
I mean, we know we can fit a one of the
buggies,
Grey Cat.
The buggies in there. Yeah, we can fit a Grey Cat in there, but compare the Grey Cat to the Rover is wider.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All you have to do is go to a Taurus, basically get in there and kind of, I guess, step at what you're doing. You can actually kind of judge them if you had them close by.
I mean, unless the Rover can lift up and the wheelbase kind of goes in, and then they might be able to fit.
Cooper Black's absolutely right, and that's what it was. Now I remember, because we talked about this a long time ago. That circular ship was one that SIG bought as like a model off of a website because they needed more ships in the game, and it was never meant to be in the game. It was literally something they bought off of one of those 3D model websites where you buy the 3D models and you can set them up. So,
okay.
Okay, from Tude. Question about is a tuber mining colony modular? So you can reuse some of the assets in future periods. From the pictures we've seen, does it look modular? I'm guessing it probably could be, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Assuming maybe other mining bases might use some of the same parts or something.
Well, considering the Crysis engine is all about recycling assets, it would make sense that they could make smaller Shubins all over the place, or part of that corporation's mining thing, that they all kind of look the same. But they wanted to go with one extremely large one so that they had all the assets for the smaller ones as well. That would be my guess.
Okay, we have one from Harglow. You're being boarded. The situation is desperate. Will you be able to set a self-destruct and bail out? And if so, will that negate your insurance claim?
Oh. But they did say there will be self-destruct, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of a...
Well, they've also said that there won't be self-destruct, so...
Really?
Yeah, they've also said that. Way back at the beginning, they specifically stated that, if you're going to get boarded, you're not allowed to self-destruct yourself because,
come on, that'd be great, taking out the whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things where technically your ship did not, run into an accident or get destroyed by a threat. You made the choice yourself to scuttle it by self-destructing it. So I'd say if they're going to put self-destructs in, no insurance claims if you do.
Or there's a timer on it or something.
No, just no insurance claims if you do. It's like when you do it, right? You're doing it with the sole intent that the other person does not get your ship, or that you give them as much grief as possible. In that case, I'd say no insurance should cover that.
No insurance. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah.
But I think there should still be a timer on the self-destruct.
I don't think there should be self-destruct at all, because what's to stop me from docking with someone like Kors Idris and then setting self-destruct on my ship and blowing out the side of it? But how much grief will that cause, though?
Yeah.
Lots of
You
grief.
know?
Yeah.
I mean,
But you would lose.
I can
I'm
see
just
it
saying,
being
you would
used.
lose the ship. I mean, the Idris itself wouldn't be. I could still file an insurance claim on that. Just using that
We would have
example.
to see
But
the docking mechanics, I think, first.
but yeah,
Or we could see
I would say that if you're doing the last ditch effort self-destruct thing, you don't get an insurance claim. And since most of the game, 80% will probably be about losing your ship and getting it back from the insurance, just like other games were, like Eve. I would say getting your ship back is a fairly big mechanic, and only those that can really afford to lose ships will be the ones that go out and venture into places where insurance doesn't cover it or where self-destructing is an option. And in that regard, I would like to see self-destruct, but like I said, if you're going to do it, you're doing it to cause grief. And when you're doing it to cause grief specifically, you don't get your ship back.
No, but what if you are, you're going to lose your family and everybody's on board and, they're trying to take over your ship and you want to kill them?
Yeah, but then you're also killing your own family.
No, they're all
You
dead
shoot them.
anyway.
Pew, pew,
So
pew.
you're,
Why
you're
are they dead?
seeking vengeance because
but
they came on board to
Domo.
take your inflatable ponies.
Domo, to you,
Yeah.
the character on that ship, it might be a smart thing to self-destruct. But to you, the character that clones himself and survives, he won't have a ship left after that.
But what if he has a whole hangar full of ships like some people?
That does, that's a completely different matter. I'm just saying, for that specific insurance situation,
Yeah,
I'd say if you self-destruct, you don't get your ship back.
By the way, guys, we're doing a giveaway, a $25 gift card giveaway donated by Otis. We're doing it because just something fun. I hit 20,000 followers. So we're going to give that away. So get in, you type in exclamation point 20,000 hype. That's we got a few more. The raffle's over in just a few.
7 minutes. So,
7 minutes.
Spot 42. Will beta backers also be able to play the Squadron 42 missions at the very beginning, or do we have to wait? Now, I believe they're episodic, aren't they?
Yeah.
They said they're going to release them.
Mm-hmm.
So you obviously you won't be able to play them all at once. You'll play them as soon as they're ready, but not all at once.
I mean, you could wait until they're all out and then play
I
them
suppose
all
you could
once.
do. You could wait and just not touch the game, and then
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait. There's gonna be too many good tidbits in it.
From Hargalo, he asks, would it be energy-based weapons for the FPS game? Did we see anything about that?
Any what?
Energy-based
Energy-based
weapons for
weapons?
FPS.
He said something about a beam weapon. Didn't you say something about a beam weapon, August? Yeah.
There's like a microwave weapon and stuff. There's different
Can it make
types.
popcorn?
They're all projectiles.
I mean, that's important. Space popcorn.
I'm sure it probably could, but there is a laser, like an energy pistol. I'm pretty sure one of the assault rifles is also a energy-based weapon. I mean, when you say energy-based weapon, I mean the shotgun is an electronic shotgun. I mean that's an energy-based weapon. So yes,
I think
there are
you're
a
talking
bunch
about
of
laser pew-pews.
there will be at least one or two, which I think fire laser bolts, not beams, other than that microwave beam weapon. But it's not really a laser, it's
Like a blaster.
like a concentrated
Energy
beam of microwave energy or something, but there will be some form
Good for
of
cooking your
laser.
food.
What about a railgun or a gauze
I don't
rifle?
know.
Gauze rifle?
I don't know about that. All I know is there will be like a Han Solo style, at least.
That'd be good.
So.
Not Random wanted to know if any of us got our dog tags because he's got his. Mine are in the
I can't
mail.
mine yet.
I don't think so.
Mine
I will
are
check
in the
after
mail,
this.
but mine are gonna probably be a while, like my towels, because it took forever to get my towels because I ordered 5 of them. So
You know what they're doing with your towels, Cliff. They're using them in a Greek bathhouse.
oh well,
Maybe
I'm
they're
using
gonna
them
send
now.
them
So
They sent them to you now? Do they smell like Greeks?
no, they smell like game now.
Okay. All right, next question.
Stray UK. In around the verse, they had extra shots of the FPS using the healing gun to get the soldier back on their feet. I was curious about our thoughts.
I got pictures of that. So let me.
Yeah. And personally, for me, I can see this as I'm personally going in there, specifically aiming at people's schmeckles, because that may put people up healing them if they've got to use a directional beam.
No, I was a nurse, and I have no problem with touching a schmeckle. I've touched many.
Yeah, but you're a nurse. But
Yeah.
these people that are just playing, they might not want to.
But I like where they're going with it. It makes it really easy. And then even just seeing them drag the person away to heal them, and it just shows the effect that they're going with of trying to heal separate appendages. I think that's kind of cool. But and also it opens the line of communication. You got to ask guy, okay, where do you need to be? I don't know if because it didn't look like it displayed on the hood on the guy when he's trying to heal him. But I guess it would start up a conversation. Where do I need to heal you? Your leg, your arm, your right arm?
That's what I wonder about, is how do you know which part of them is injured? As a medic, if someone's like out of it, there's got to be...
Or if they get hit with a microwave weapon, how do you
There must be some way for you to tell,
Yeah.
Because microwave weapon would cook you in the inside, you wouldn't see it on the outside at all.
I mean, it's going to depend how detailed they may do like damage states on the players when you get hit. Because they did say there's going to be, you're going to have some damage visible. They said there's going to be some blood, but nothing too gory. So you may be able to see some wounds.
Yeah. But, I mean, from what I've seen when I took that still of that guy that got hit in the face, it cracked his shield up, and then, of course, there's a big spot of blood, and then it kind of went away. And, like, that one guy had blood on his helmet. I think it's just going to be kind of like a spotty and probably showing a little bit of scarring. But I don't think it's going to be too gory.
Hopefully you won't have to rely on the person that's injured to tell you where to aim the gun, because you may not be in voice comms with them,
Well, this would be also what would be cool though is also when you get damaged and you get healed, your armor still stays damaged. Like if the part of your armor got blown off on your leg, but you healed your leg, well, that piece of armor's still gone. That would be a cool mechanic if they left it. Whatever injuries you suffer, they can heal you, but it just means you're kind of left, less armor.
Problem is always that the more into detail you go about where you can be hit, how you can be hit, what the effects will be, what kind of armor there is. The more you go into detail, you're basically building layers upon layers upon layers upon layers on a character that is supposed to be. I don't know how to put it, but there have been games in the past that have tried this type of stuff, like Soldier of Fortune, and at the end of the day, whilst the concepts of trying to get it as realistic as possible are nice, they feel more like a gimmick and less like realism.
They've already said that they're using the same things with the damage states and everything like that as the ships.
Yeah.
So I would assume that that's going to take into effect armor and things like that. And when you're healing people, it's not replacing their
Oh yeah, that whole armor system
stuff,
from,
right? So
Warhorse.
I think that that's one of the big things that they're going to be doing. Well, the armor thing from Warhorse that's a whole other thing entirely. I'm talking about all the damage states and when you do damage to someone.
Each layer of armor adds more layers of protection.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So they could blow off one layer, but you still have those other 2-3 layers that's underneath.
Right, or depending on where they hit and things like that, right? Just on the stuff, you see all the different sections. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's you have your in between your ankles and your knee to your waist and your waist area, and then your lower torso, upper torso, front and back, schmeckle. Your arms.
Well,
your
I would see it more as armor plates, the armor plates that would be on your body. I would see those as the sections on you, rather than going between legs and stuff.
Right.
Gotcha.
But the same sort of idea.
Yeah, same idea, just different execution.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're gonna do the drawing here, and then we're gonna wrap her up.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Bert's Bees!
Yay, Bert!
Are you here, Bert? Hey,
Come on, Bert.
Hello, Bert.
Woohoo!
Yeah, there he goes. He said woohoo.
All right, Bert, send me a message on Twitch here with your Twitch, or with your Robert Space Industries email address, and I'll send you that $25 gift card. Congrats!
Congratulations!
All right, let's go around the room, around the verse, and do our thing in GTFO. So, Mr. Core, you want to go first?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter, at YouTube, and at Twitch. Currently not streaming, currently not producing any content, currently also not tweeting very much. I'm playing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and just gearing up for FPS, and once that comes out, I will be streaming again.
Soon. Yeah.
Soon.
Look for the
Just
core.
if you want me to stream quicker,
Mhm.
get SIG to finish their fucking shit. So I
They're
can.
working on it. Just chillax.
I'm chilled, but people want to see me
You
stream.
better
so-
stream when that comes out. You realize that?
Yeah, I know.
Some blood on the...
I got it. I need a new PC.
Yeah, I'll check it, Stompy. All right, Bud.
Bod699 everywhere, like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube's, etc. Been streaming every day. Normally stream Star Citizen 3 or 4 times a week, and other days, like every second day, other days I will stream other random things. We did some Arena Command the other day, done some Forza, some Heroes and Generals, all sorts of random stuff.
I heard that Heroes and Generals had a lot of aimbots.
Any game has lots of aimbots.
Yeah, most FPSs.
I've heard
have
that Star
aimbots.
Citizen does too, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, really?
Well, an FPS, people are going to immediately think, oh, there's going to be aimbots. But there may be, but I'm sure that SIG are going to be doing what they can to squash it. You know, more.
All right, Clifford.
You can find me on Twitch, Clifford _AKA_Miku. You can find me on Twitter all the time, Miku, Clifford _Miku, and then same for my YouTube. So, everybody's.
All right, WTFosaurus.
I'm WTFosaurus on Twitch and on the Twitter and WTFosaurusplays.com. I have been playing a lot of Arena Commander, been salty the last few days. Kind of got over that. I won my first match this morning, finally.
Oh, good.
And I've been doing a little bit of Arma in the evening, and we'll be doing some Shattered Horizon, because I found out that you can still buy it, and we can set up a private server. So I'll be setting up a server and stuff for that very shortly, and that's some 0G FPS. And yeah, I'll be streaming some Star Citizen right after StarCast today.
Awesome. StarCast.
Hi. Stackers. I'm Stackers on Twitch, on Twitter. On YouPorn, I'm the butted potato fucker.
On meatspin.com, that's actually him.
Yeah, I'm the
Spinning
one on
his meat.
top.
Yeah,
I'm the one on
He's
top.
the one. That's where they get the spin from.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's a StarCast spin.
Yeah, I'm just really, really tired.
He's worn out.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for making StarCast the best Star Citizen podcast.
Something.
And thanks for being here, everybody. And thanks again, once again, to Will and Ben for being here and giving away that amazing ship. And a jelly.
They're awesome.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks also to the base who.
Oh God,
here.
yes. Oh yeah, we
And
gotta get out of here.
They've got their show kicking off
Right now.
as soon as we
Yep.
end.
So right now,
Second.
we have to go at this moment because it's time for. Wait, see,
The base.
there you go. You're supposed to cue it up. The base. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks a lot, and go check out the base, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.